Performance reviews. Some people treat them like a meaningful conversation. Others like a mandatory inspection. Today we are unpacking the messy truth behind employee reviews. Why they matter, why they sting, and why they often leave us more confused than developed. Buckle up, this might get uncomfortable.
Three thinkers, one goal. Welcome to the podcast to support people in improving collaborative work.
Welcome back, I'm Carsten. I've been through reviews that felt like a friendly chat and others that felt like an MOT inspection, checking whether I still run straight. You can guess which ones I remember most.
And I'm Thomas. To me, performance reviews feel a bit like electrical measurements. The moment you measure something, you distort it, which makes the whole process, let's say, complicated.
And I'm Günter. Personally, I've had reviews that made me more nervous than the dentist. At least the dentist explains what he's about to do. So let's start idealistically for a moment. A review should help you grow. Honest feedback, fairness, a sense of direction. That's what I want it to be.
Well, that's what it should be. But in real companies, not so. Reviews often serve the system first and the person second. Budget cycles, pay frameworks, quotas.
And that's the structural problem. A company doesn't hold reviews because it's overflowing with empathy. It holds them because compensation and evaluation systems demand numbers.
Sure, but I still believe the human part matters. If the system overshadows the conversation, something's broken.
The biggest issue isn't even the rating scale. It's expectations. Whose expectations? Your boss? The company's? Some invisible HR algorithm? They rarely match.
And that's why the same performance can be seen as either solid by one manager or needs improvement by another one. It's not science, it's mostly perspective.
Now, speaking of perspective, I once got an average rating in networking.
Oh,
Really?
Networking. Now, anyone who has ever met me knows that's my superpower.
Certainly is.
So how does that make sense?
well, if the expectation is that you are a superhero, delivering superhero results only meets expectations. That's a trap.
And that shows the absurdity. The better you are, the harder it becomes to exceed expectations. That's not motivation, that's a slow drip of disillusionment.
I don't want a weakness parade. I want a real reflection. Where I'm strong,
Yeah.
where I can grow,
Yeah.
without being reduced to a list of shortcomings.
Encouragement, yeah.
You can't fix people into skills they don't have. For example, no matter how much training I get, I will never reach Carsten's level on the trombone.
Or maybe you will. I don't know. And I will never
No, I
plan
won't.
my day as well as you, Günther.
Thanks.
But in the end, our strengths matter. Weakness fixation doesn't turn people into high performers. It turns them into frustrated non-performers.
And that's why focusing on strengths is so important. If you start a review with a list of flaws, you shut the door before the conversation even begins.
And then there's the measurement distortion. Every attempt to measure performance change the performance itself. A classic systems problem.
Yeah, you focus on these measurable things, and which is exactly why objectivity is often an illusion. We pretend we're using precise tools, but the tools create bias.
Let's not ignore the emotional impact. Reviews can hurt, especially when they start with criticism instead of appreciation.
Yeah, neuroscience explains it. One negative comment can overshadow 3 positive ones. Brains are built for threat detection.
Which means a review must be intentionally balanced.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the brain walks away remembering only the hit and not the help.
And employees deserve a moment to shine. A chance to say, here is what I achieved. Here is what mattered to me. That stage often gets skipped.
It sometimes seems that your manager is afraid that acknowledging your success creates further expectations on your side, which they then feel unable to fulfill.
I've seen that too often. And then you end up with the opposite of motivation, a subtle message that your wins don't count.
Look, leaders don't need to be experts in the details of every job. They need a functional understanding and the ability to create an environment where people can do their best work.
But they need time for that. Too many leaders are overloaded with tasks and have no capacity left for real leadership.
And without time for people, a review becomes a checklist, not a conversation.
If people that retire say, "Thank goodness that's over," then something went wrong for decades. But if someone reaches their final day and says, "I love this place," then that's leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
And reviews are part of that journey. They can lift people or they can crush them.
And for me, the goal is simple. A review should leave me motivated, respected, clear on what's next. If it does that, the system works. If not, it's just noise.
And at the end of the day, performance reviews aren't paperwork. They're a leadership tool. And if leaders use them well, the company gains more than numbers, it gains potential.
And potential is the real driver for business success. When people feel seen, trusted and encouraged, they stop surviving and start contributing. That's where innovation comes from people who actually want to be here.
And that, ironically, brings us full circle to the question we asked at the beginning. Why does the company even do this?
This is why.
Officially, it's for alignment, targets, budgets. But in reality, the biggest return comes when the conversation focuses on development, not inspection. Because motivated people outperform monitored people every single time.
So if a company really wants innovation, resilience and long-term success, it needs performance reviews that create energy, not fear.
And when both sides lean in, leader and employee, the review stops being an obligation and starts becoming an advantage.
Thank you for listening to our discussion. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to make sure you don't miss our next episode. Until next time, at 3 Thinkers, 1 Goal. Becoming smarter, 1 episode at a time.
So let's ignore the emotion. Let's not ignore the emotional part.
Make it again. We do not ignore.
No, we don't ignore anyone here. Come on, Günter, go for it.
Okay,